Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the July session of the Bad Buildings webinar series. My name is Kelsey Romer. I am an AmeriCorps member with the Preservation Alliance of West Virginia, and the site where I do my national service is the Northern West Virginia Brownfields Assistance Center in their Bad Buildings program out of WVU. So today we are joined by my fellow AmeriCorps member, Ms. Kalyn Obiozor. She is the Huntington Love Your Block coordinator. So we're going to hear about her program today. Before we get into all of that, just going over some of the technical reminders here. So we're going to use the chat a lot. We'll have a portion for Q&A at the end, so drop your questions in the chat as we go. The technical issues, anything like that, the chat will also have my email address there, so don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any issues or anything like that. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be recording today, so if you don't want your video tile to be on the recording, make sure you keep that turned off. So on that note, I will go ahead and turn it over to Kalyn.
Awesome. So hello, I'm Kalyn Obiozor. I'm the Love Your Block coordinator here in Huntington, West Virginia for the city of Huntington. And there we go. So I'll just go over just a little introduction of myself. So I am a Preserve West Virginia AmeriCorps member serving with the Huntington Love Your Block program. My service focuses on coordinating volunteer-led, low-cost, high-impact projects to improve the neighborhoods of Huntington and strengthen the relationships between the city government and Huntington residents and business owners. My goal is to help the residents of Huntington make the change they want in their community. Okay, so I've kind of broken this webinar into 4 different focuses because we've had some shifts for you to really get a clear, concise understanding of what the program is and where we stand in Huntington. So I've broken them into the cities of service, Love Your Block Huntington, and then Love Your Block Huntington's future sustainability. Okay, so who is cities of service? I'm gonna have to move the peoples over. So cities of service helps mayors build strong cities by changing the way local government and citizens work together. Okay, so the Love Your Block grant program began in 2009, led by the New York City's Mayor, Michael Bloomberg, and the national nonprofit Cities of Service. Since then, Cities of Service has helped dozens of cities implement the program in 2018. Huntington, alongside 9 other legacy cities, was awarded $25,000 to be used for many grants and resources to support the efforts of citizens, groups, and local nonprofits to fight property blight and through small home repairs, vacant lot activation, and community cleanup. In addition, 2 AmeriCorps Vista members serve in each winning city hall to build capacity and raise awareness. So the Love Your Block Huntington program is a series of community projects determined by the residents and businesses owners in Huntington. The program provides many grant funding projects and ideas developed by the community members to improve their neighborhoods and blocks through low cost, high impact change. Okay, so Love Your Block Huntington 2021. So we've taken kind of a pivot. So for the last 2 years, in year 1 and 2, we were under cities of service. So now, trying to create that sustainability factor in Huntington, we've kind of merged into sustaining through the city of Huntington, as well as Preservation Alliance of West Virginia, which gives me my position as an AmeriCorps. So the Love Your Block Huntington 2021, currently the Love Your Block program has been able to continue the support of the city of Huntington in partnership with the Preservation Alliance of West Virginia and West Virginia State AmeriCorps program. So we're no longer with Cities of Service because that was a 2-year grant opportunity. Okay. So fortunately, that the good thing is applications are back open for Cities of Service, providing other Love Your Blocks around the United States the opportunity to have a program like we were able to have. So 8 U.S. cities will be able to be selected to receive $100,000. So that's grown from $25,000 to $100,000. That will be over 2 years, support resident-led efforts fighting blight and to fund the Love Your Block Fellows drawn from the community, as well as they will provide 2 AmeriCorps Vista members and technical assistance from experts of Cities of Service staff. The AmeriCorps Vista members and fellow will serve in the city hall to build capacity for resident engagement. Now they are situated at the Johns Hopkins University. The Cities of Service is pleased to continue the Love Your Block program with the support of Bloomberg Philanthropies and AmeriCorps. So at the bottom of the screen, you will see that this is the link to their website. So I'll give you guys an opportunity to write that down. So the deadline is August 9th, which is quickly approaching. And they give way more information on their website to know more about how you can have Love Your Block in your neighborhood. I will like to say that you will see on their website that you don't have to be one of the 8 cities that are selected to be able to start a Love Your Block program in your neighborhood. You will not get the $100,000 grant, but they give a lot of their framework and how you can implement the same thing in your neighborhood. Of course, you would have to find additional funds and grants to things like that because you are awarding mini grants to people in the neighborhood to be able to do projects. So here's a couple of other cities that have done the neighborhood improvement. You have Buffalo, New York, and then you have Bismarck, Pittsburgh. So they are overseas as well. All right, so the project categories for the mini grants may include community cleanup, minor home repair, and activating vacant lots. Now, we have done these 3 categories in the past, especially in year 1 and year 2, and I'll get a little bit more into it why we didn't pick those 3 categories this year for year 3. But this year we decided to do community cleanup, activating vacant lots, and then we did beautification. And the reason why we did that is because we partnered this year with Project Shine, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, so Love Your Block projects must include these 4 categories. So revitalization, which is going to be like vacant lots, green spaces, abandoned community gardens that is unused, overgrown places in the community. They want to make sure that it has a safety component to it. They really want to make sure that we're improving the perception of safety in the community. The biggest component I would want to say is the volunteerism, because these volunteers are coming directly from the community. For example, we are in West Huntington and Highland. So everything that we do, we're not doing for them. We are giving the community members the tools and they're doing it. So we're really increasing community connectiveness through volunteerism. And then the collaboration. This is another very key point to the Love Your Block program. I'm not sure if you guys have any experience with this or any knowledge, but a lot of communities don't trust their city governments. They don't have strong relationships with the city governments. And so we are trying to collaborate with community members and helping them create a relationship and collaborate with city members. And further down in the slide, you'll see the collaborations that we've had and what we've built. But this is really, really important to us because we want to gain that trust. We want them to be able to trust people in the city hall. That's why we're located in our city hall, and be able to go out into the go out to the community members, and help them solve problems and build those relationships. So eligibility. So the funds in our mini grant process, we would fund up to between 500 to 2,500 will be dispersed to qualified applicants. There is a scoring system with the application. Successful applications will follow the guidelines outlined. This will include the area, volunteers, support, and goals addressed. The areas will take place within those chosen areas. For us, it's the West Huntington as well as Highline. We are very hoping to be able to expand with the years to come. Volunteers, projects must be volunteer-led support. Projects must show clear support from the community and goals addressed. Projects must address a goal that is shared by the community member. So the way that our Love Your Block Huntington mini grant application process has looked, it may not be the same for every Love Your Block program. Once you do, maybe if you do research, but the way that we've done it in the past is that we launch a mini grant application that will be through social media and making sure that the neighborhoods know that, hey, we're launching this mini grant application. That can look like I said, social media, going to the neighborhood association meetings, really putting ourselves out in the neighborhood during like neighborhood functions and gatherings. We would want to have like a table set up and letting them know that we have this mini grant opportunity. We host a mini grant application webinar that's typically done now during the pandemic, that has been done via Facebook Live or using Zoom, of course, making sure our Zoom is connected with our Facebook Live. In the past, it's been in person. We've done it at like a library in the past. Just making sure whatever it is, we're able to reach enough people to answer their questions. The good thing about social media is that we're able to record it and put it on there. So if people can't really be somewhere at a certain time, they can watch the recording as many times as they need it. So I think that's a component that probably should stay, being able to have that recording online. Okay, the next thing is going to be review mini grant applications with a review committee. So pretty much how this is done is that we get community leaders and people who really would like to see a change in their communities, and we form a committee. And so with that committee, they're able to review the applications, making sure they stick with the guidelines of the rubric. And then we come together and we vote on what applications best suit the goals for the mini grant for that year. So we announced the mini grant winners. In the past, we've had our mayor announce it. This year, I announced it on Facebook, but it's however you want to announce the mini grant winners. It's really nice to kind of people to be awarded something and win something. So we really like that component of it. So after that, we host a mini grant orientation for the mini grant winners. And so that's when we go over the guidelines. We work out possible implementation dates to be able to do the program or do the projects. We answer any questions. We kind of go over the budget for their projects, as well as we answer questions that we may have from them and then they may have from us. Because sometimes we have to work out some kinks in the actual projects. Okay, and so we implement projects after that. And then you want to have some type of how to report your project outcomes. And this is really important. So we like to get a before picture and an after picture of whatever the project was, and then have them fill out a metrics so we can have that data for the years to come, so we can be able to work based off of that. So if we need to make any improvements, or just when it comes to being able to see the projects that have been done and and the outcomes that were made. Okay, so I'm going to go over kind of a year one and year two review. So in the last 2 years, when we were with Cities of Service, with the $25,000 grant, we were able to award 12 mini grants. That included 7 small home repairs, 5 neighborhood improvement projects. We attended 42 meetings, trainings, and events. We removed 2,872 pounds of trash. We had a total of 1,838 volunteer hours, which translates to 18,380 in labor, free labor, you guys, that we were able to get from our volunteers, which is very awesome. So we realized in year two, the end of year two, that our program was going to transition into other areas in Huntington, and we really wanted to see that happen. So the year three program goals is to increase the impact of the Love Your Block by expanding into other areas of Huntington, while ensuring that West Huntington, which was our pilot neighborhood, can sustain the positive impact that was created by the efforts of the Love Your Block and West End community. So we're in year three this year. So in year three, the program was able to evolve and to incorporate new neighborhood focus area in addition to one we had in the past, which was West Huntington. This was accomplished by partnering the Love Your Block program with the concentrated efforts of the city funding for minor home repair through the Volunteers Service Group and contracted projects. And that project was Project Shine, is Project Shine. So we collaborated with Project Shine. Project Shine is a pilot housing rehabilitation program for target neighborhoods through the city of Huntington, planning and development program designed to provide free assistance with minor home repair and exterior repairs and upgrades. The goal is, I have to correct myself because we're currently doing this right now. It was to complete 100 exterior repairs in West Huntington, Highline, and Fairfield East. So we're currently doing this. Project Shine launched their application in April. They started doing the work camps from all over the nation, came in and are currently doing free work for our residents, and that is happening now. So it's really awesome because this gave Love Your Block an opportunity to go into a new neighborhood, which was Highline, and we were able to create that relationship and network. So we kind of like jumped on the bandwagon with Project Shine and went along everywhere with them and spoke at different neighborhood association meetings. We were able to speak to the schools, speak to the churches, and because they saw our faces, we were able to create those contacts with them and network with them. So this actually helped us to be able to do things that we weren't able to do in West Huntington, which was have that strong connection with schools and churches. We were able to do in Highline. Not saying that it was all because of Project Shine, but it really helped out a lot. So the year three framework, our goals are community empowerment, community ownership, communications with the government, and community engagement. So this framework is different because when you see Cities of Service, the Love Your Block program, you're gonna see their framework. So if you apply to have the Love Your Block program in your neighborhood and say you do get the $100,000, they're gonna have a framework for you. But of course, for us, since we were in year three, we were no longer with Cities of Service, we had to create our own framework. So that took a lot of dissecting everything that happened from year one and year two, figuring out what really worked for us and how to sustain it for the years to come. And so we created this framework, this is just the gist of it, but a very extensive long document that we can put into a neighborhood and they will have the tools they need to be able to continue on the Love Your Block program. That is our goal. We haven't gotten there yet. We haven't really seen had enough people rise up out of the woodwork and like say, I'll take it on, I'll be the lead for this, I'll coordinate this. I think the pandemic had a lot to do with that as well. And people were really trying to get there. We saw that we weren't as busy. And then when we started realizing that we wanted to get neighborhoods to sustain the programs on their own, people got overly busy because they were trying to like pick back up where the pandemic left off. And so right now we're in just focusing on the grant itself, making sure that the projects are being implemented, and then we'll come back to making sure that we're able to sustain it in our neighborhood. but this is the framework that we came up with and that we think will help sustain the program in the neighborhoods. Of course, the programs can take this framework and use it as an example. That's what we would hope, and they could build off of it and make their own framework. So the program partners that we built. So during this project process in year 1 and year 2, we were really able to build strong connections with the planning and zoning, public works, communication, and IT and videographers. That's not my partnerships. That's the community partnerships that they were able to build. They built those relationships with those different departments. Now they know if they have questions. Oh, if I'm going to do this on a sidewalk or in this area that is owned by the city, I need to call Public Works or I need to call the planning and zoning. Those are actual relationships that we brought the people in who applied for these mini grants. We also brought planning and zoning and Public Works in to come in and talk to them when it came to implementing their ideas, so they know the proper way to do things like that. The community organizations and partners that we were really able to build, neighborhood associations, we really built a strong relationship with the neighborhood associations, being able to really come and speak at their meetings. Because I went to the neighborhood association meetings with Project Shine as well as Love Your Block, now I continue to go because it's in my neighborhood, and now I know more about my neighborhood, and now I'm able to be more active in my neighborhood and problem solving through whatever may be going on. So it really helped me out to know that, hey, you have a neighborhood, you're a homeowner, you should go to your neighborhood association meetings. So we also was able to connect with United Way. I know our United Way has a volunteer portal, and so I think probably most United Ways have that portal. So it was nice to be able to connect with them so they can get the word out there so we can get more volunteers. And this year, we were able to really build a relationship with the public schools and the churches. We've had endless churches and endless public schools in the neighborhoods that we are in apply for mini grants. And we were really happy that we are able to really create that network there. They were able to post our mini grant launch on their websites, on their Facebook pages, as well as in their schools. And so I think most of our applicants saw that information either at the children's schools because it was taken home with the kids in their backpack, which was really awesome. That was like free marketing right there. Or they were able to see it on their kids' school's Facebook page. And that was awesome. That was all free marketing. And I think like that marketing, just that alone, was like the best marketing techniques, as well as the churches posted it in their bulletins. And so you don't have to do like Facebook, marketing or ads and things like that. I think just using the people in your community is really good. Plus, when you hit the bulletins at the churches in that area, you get the people who may not be on Facebook or on social media. So that was really a plus as well. Okay, so best practices. So we keep an organized record of everyone's contact in the community. That was really good for us to do. Use good customer service skills when working with the public and be genuinely excited. So some people, if you're going to a neighborhood that's not your neighborhood, you want to be excited for what's to come. You want to really show that neighborhood that you're there to help them make an impact. You don't want to say like, I'm going to make an impact for your neighborhood, but you want to get them to see that you're helping them create that impact, and it will benefit you. So recommendations: participate in community events. It will help the AmeriCorps members integrate into the community and show that we are dedicated to improving the neighborhoods through more than just the Love Your Block mini grant program. And I know that we have making sure that you do whatever you need to do for your AmeriCorps position as well as your job itself, but take some time to really go to any type of community event that they're having, even if it's not just setting up a table and putting out the mini grant information, really show that you're taking an interest in the community to really get to know people. Because just walking around and introducing yourself, that's going to be really good for you, because you're going to meet people, you're going to see who's leading in the community. And trust me, that's how I had most of my community members for reviewing the application, as well as helping us towards being able to create a sustainability plan for the Love Your Block program. Okay, so if you want to have the Love Your Block program in your neighborhood, you can reach out to us to learn more about the program and hear how Huntington has evolved over the years. You can read about the Love Your Block framework on the Cities of Service page and adapt it to your own community to make it your own. And that's if you're not wanting to go out for the funding, or if you didn't get the funding, you can still do this good works in your neighborhood without getting the funding. Apply to participate in the next funding cycle for the Love Your Block through Cities of Service. All right, does anybody have any questions?
Let's see. Thank you so much. There are so many things in there that you touched on that I'm so excited about. I'm going to jump straight over to the chat because I know that we did have one good question come in from Carrie Lewis in Piedmont. So, are there any grants for small municipalities? Because it looks like the cutoff for Love Your Block on their website says less than or 30,000 inhabitants or more. Do you know? I don't know if you know that off the top of your head or not.
I don't, but
Okay.
what I can tell you is that maybe organizing a group of people to meet with your mayor and people in your city hall, they may be able to come up with something. They may be able to shift funds over if you bring the framework and make sure that you conduct a meeting that tells exactly what your mission is and your goals. And show them the success of what the Love Your Block program has done all over the world. And so they may be able to do that. I know, like, Try This West Virginia offers mini grants, and that there's a lot of different mini grants that are offered. But I can tell you, a lot of our projects didn't take that much money. This year we decreased it from 2,500 to 1,000, and we had a lot of projects that were $0. We had projects that right now we got we applied for, it wasn't a grant, we applied for litter prevention stuff. So we got bags, we got grabbers, we got gloves, and that was free. We just had to put in a 3 or 4 line application, and then they mailed it to us. And that right there, you can just start off with that. Start off with litter, something that costs nothing, right? Maybe start off cleaning up someone's yard, like someone cutting the grass of an elderly person's overgrown grass and overgrown, maybe like there's weeds everywhere. Pulling the weeds, having somebody come with their lawnmower and cut the grass, that's nothing, but that's still loving your block. So I don't think really you have to have all this money. You can start off small and you can build yourself up to having some type of money. Right now we're doing like a lot of our projects, since we're not doing home repair, we're doing a couple little libraries and things like that. So I don't think everything has to have a lot of money to start the Love Your Block program. I think the biggest thing is getting community members to show that they're invested in their community and volunteering.
Right. Yeah. Especially because, like, with the 30,000 residents, issue, that's something that happens in West Virginia all the time. We all know this. Our top 3 largest cities in the state only have about 45,000 people in them, and everything else is down like between 1 and 5,000 maybe. So that's one of those little like stipulations that does often come back to bite us, unfortunately. But as you just said, there's so many things that you can do for free without those sorts of things. And the fact that you can, do that Love Your Block framework even without getting accepted as one of the 8 cities, like, that's phenomenal. I love that about the program. That's great. But going off what you were just saying about getting the community members involved, that's so important. I wanted because we had just talked about that before during the presentation, and that's such a huge part about this is encouraging and facilitating the people in the community to actually like get involved and do this work and meeting them where they're at. That's one of the things that we talk about a lot when we set up meetings with our organization is how do we reach them where they already are? You know, if they have a town hall meeting, if they have like cool festivals and events or something, go set up a table where they are. If there's, you know, little leagues or something, go hand out flyers at games. You know, it's all about reaching the communities where they already are congregating instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and get people to come out to something brand new, you know, that they don't know of. So yeah, I love that you're focusing it all on the actual community members themselves.
Sorry, my internet went out, so I had to move locations.
You're okay. You're good. You're good. So I don't have any other questions here in the chat just yet, but yeah, go ahead. If anyone has any questions, go on ahead and drop them in here. Any suggestions, you know, questions about like, you know, suggestions on the types of projects, you know, types of you know, beautification projects, anything you have, go on ahead and drop that in there. We won't bite, don't worry. I'm looking back through the notes that I wrote down. So using the schools and churches for marketing. Also loved that. Can you tell us a little bit about you know, logistically how you would reach out to the school? Were you going through the school board or were you going through like parent teacher not meetings, the PTO meetings? Can you tell us a little bit more about how you reached out to the schools? Oh no, did we lose you?
Can you hear me?
There we go. Now we got you. Maybe, possibly. Gotta love the technical difficulties. They're always fun. We may have to try to drop and come back in, perhaps.
I'm sorry, the internet keeps going out. They're doing a lot of construction right
You're
now.
good. You're good. There we go. You're good. We can hear you now. If nothing else, we had the excellent presentation, so we've got all of that information that I'll be able to share with everybody after we're finished today. I'll send the slides out as usual and make sure everyone has access to that recording for all those great links and tips and information for applying to the program. You can see in the chat here as well, Todd dropped the link to the Cities of Service page. Thank you, Todd. So if anyone's interested in you know, doing that application or checking out more information, the link is there in the chat for you all too. All right, Kalyn, can you hear us now?
Hi, everyone. This is Bree. I'm the planning director for the Love Your Block program. I can just quickly answer. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Hello.
Yeah, I'm sure Kalyn's just trying to get her presentation back together. But yeah, she and our previous coordinator were so great about like coordinating with the parent partners, which is actually a position that I didn't realize existed at the school district. But that was a new connection that I found, or that they found basically in their work contacting the school district. So that was really huge. And then the churches in the different neighborhoods, they have engaged in these kind of like community groups that are in Huntington. They're called like the Alliance. And so there's a Highland Alliance that kind of brings together some of the churches. And in West Huntington, again, there's kind of like a ad hoc kind of like alliance of the different churches. So that was one of the methods, besides just their kind of personal. We really lucked out this year with our AmeriCorps. They are both residents of Huntington, and they actually have their own personal connections like in the neighborhoods that they were working. And so that was a really great, just like kind of beauty of this year for the program and how it's been implemented, if that helps kind of answer some of the outreach that we did with the churches and the schools, which are community groups that we engage a lot, but have in the past had a few challenges in getting to the right person.
Right. Yeah, no, that's excellent. That definitely helps. Thank you so much. Yeah, and another, the shameless AmeriCorps plug, because you have to. AmeriCorps is such a huge network here in West Virginia. I mean, across the country, but in West Virginia especially. And I think that's a huge asset that a lot of communities don't always think of as far as, marketing or capacity building, things like that, because we're all interconnected through AmeriCorps and Volunteer West Virginia. If you have an event, even if you don't personally have an AmeriCorps at your site, if you have an event, if you can just find an AmeriCorps that's somewhere near you and let them know about it, essentially, then we can advertise it to anyone else in the network. And suddenly you've got hundreds of AmeriCorps that can help with that, or attend the event as part of our service projects or something like that. So as I sit here with my AmeriCorps mug, I gotta once again plug how useful we can be. So I do see another question in the chat, but we're waiting. We're gonna let Kalyn hopefully get joined back in here, but I see your question, Todd. Thank you. Oh, hey, there we go. You're muted.
I logged in with my phone because the internet keeps kicking me out here.
You're all good. We all know how West Virginia internet can often be, but luckily we have Brianna answer that question.
Was able to fill in. I'm so sorry about that.
You're totally fine. I was giving an AmeriCorps plug about how we are a huge network of people that can help with events and things like that. But while I was talking, we had a question from Todd come in that says, what tips or experience do you have with engaging mayors in eligible cities? There's a suggestion on the website for it. So he's looking for the insider tips.
Yeah. Our mayor has really been on board with everything. I will say that, of course, mayors are very busy. And so maybe creating a relationship and if you're not going to have an inside person, because we're in the office, we're in the city of Huntington, we're in City Hall, and Bree, who you spoke to, is our director, and she's over us. She has that direct line of communication with the mayor. But if you are going to be starting the Love Your Block program and may not be in City Hall, then you definitely just want to network. You want to go to any type of events or things that they're doing in City Hall that are talking about your neighborhoods and things like that. And so you want to just pretty much develop relationships with the people around him, especially like the secretary who knows his schedule. And then you can kind of finagle your way in to speak about these issues. I don't think that anybody's going to say that they don't want to support somebody when it comes to improving your communities. One thing that our mayor has done and still does is that he takes walks around the neighborhood in every district. And so he walks with community members and they can tell them about like the dilapidated houses and things that are going on in the neighborhood. And so that was one of the reasons why that we started Love Your Block in Huntington, because it was one of those things that he, was passionate about. And so maybe it's doing things like that and building a relationship with people in your city hall. I don't think anybody wants to really turn anybody away who's wanting to do something positive and create positive change. I think most of the time in city hall, they hear all the negativity or people maybe disgruntled or maybe not happy with something. So to have somebody come in with some positivity will be a nice change.
That's very, very true. And also, and as you said, they're busy. So if they hear someone saying something positive that they have a plan to accomplish, like
Right,
themselves, instead of asking them to do more work, like
right.
that's another big thing too.
Yeah.
And
And also show what you've already done. Don't go straight to your city hall. Start doing something on your own merit with people and volunteering and doing these things, document it, and then have something to show somebody that, okay, we've already been doing this. It'll be really nice if we can get the support from whomever. Also, one thing that's really good is that neighborhood associations, they have a contact with city halls, okay, as well as your councilmen. The people who are in your district, go to them first. They have a direct contact with the mayor. They have a direct contact with people in your city hall. So don't just go at the top. Go through those people, okay, and then create those that network and those relationships, and then you can get that participation through people in city hall.
that's an excellent point. That's very true. Yeah. And there was something else too that struck a chord, kind of along the same lines of that. You were talking about walking around and checking out the, the blight in your neighborhoods, the abandoned and dilapidated houses, and that kind of thing. And it reminded me, so just to stress again, like how this relates to the bad buildings, kind of program and why we thought this would be great to have in here is because one, you're doing these projects that do help fight blight in your neighborhood. So like Love Your Block is separate from bad buildings, obviously, but they cover so much of the same, type of work. And more importantly, they're all community driven. It's people that are, community members that care about their community and want to make it better. Same thing with bad buildings. It's we send out survey teams of concerned citizens that are doing these surveys themselves and then reporting back to a leader and then us here at Bad Buildings. So it's all about harnessing that energy that you already have and just kind of helping guide it. It's giving the framework to help guide these people that already want to make a difference. Your community members are already your best resource,
Exactly. And I can give you almost so many examples of things that we have accomplished that wasn't even on For Love Your Block or even Project Shine. It was just, for example, we were at a neighborhood association meeting and there was a representative from Project Shine and I was there and we were talking about the green monstrosity, right? And it was this house, this apartment complex that looks horrible. And so what did I do when I came back? I was like, hey, when is this green monstrosity going to be torn down? Because these community members are really frustrated, So it's like that wasn't a Love Your Block situation, but I was advocating for them. Right. And then even with Project Shine, we were walking around the neighborhoods and we saw all kinds of houses that weren't within code because we were walking around with an inspector as well. We were able to see houses that weren't on the list to be torn down. We were able to make note of those houses so they could get reevaluated and put on the list. There's endless things. We realized that there was more renter occupied homes that we realized, and we were able to put those homes on a list because they weren't within code, and so the landlords weren't doing their part. A lot of things stemmed from just a walk, really.
Right.
Just a walk around the neighborhood, a lot of things stemmed from that.
Right.
So it does, I think it directly is side by side with the bad buildings because you're able to shine light on a lot of things that are happening in neighborhoods that people may not know is going on. You
Right.
know, like that green monstrosity was bought through a third party entity that they thought they were going, and they lived in Virginia.
Oh
They
yeah.
lived in Virginia. They bought this building that had fire damage, had all these issues, that was really a breeding ground for like drugs and things like that. And so they bought the building thinking that they're going to rehab it. Well, they didn't realize that there was so much more that needed to be done to it, that it was really a risk. So what happened was we were able to bring that back up in conversation, and they were able to talk that person into not pursuing this property so it could be torn down. It got torn down a couple weeks ago.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's awesome. That's success right there. Yeah. I mean, that the absentee landowner story is, half of the stories that we deal with.
Oh yeah,
It's
they
so
live
common.
somewhere else, and they think that they're going to have these properties, and they're going to I don't know, rent out these properties. I don't even know how they buy them. I don't think they step foot in the neighborhood. And
Honestly,
so
half the
it's
time.
just yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a huge success. We often talk about the difficulties in accomplishing demolition. It's just so hard to get funding for and things like that. So the fact that came down like really deserves applause. Like that's a success. That is great. Yeah. And
And then
oh, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I was gonna say also, the people in the like I said, a lot of people in City Hall are very, very busy. But we were able to get a lot of people out in the neighborhoods to walk around, and they saw a lot of things, that the work that they're doing, things that we need to have better communication, because they saw that there was a lot more renter occupied houses. So now that they can talk to whomever and figure out why that these renter occupied homes aren't on the renters list, right? And so things like that, maybe going back to that person's question, just saying, hey, can we have certain people from City Hall, it's a nice day, just walk around with us in our neighborhood so we can show you what's going on. These are their jobs already. They're already trying to tear down houses. They're already trying to strengthen the renter occupied list to know who's renting. Maybe getting them out in the community so you can see where those shortcomings are. They're doing a great job already, but things are going to slip through the cracks. And so now it's on their radar.
Yeah, that's an excellent suggestion. I love that. And again, we were talking about this earlier before we started recording about how so many people, now that it's warm outside, they're like going on walks on their lunch breaks or something like that. It could be as simple as that. Invite them to go to lunch, take like a walking lunch with you. There something as simple as that can be something that makes a difference. Yeah, right. I love it.
Yeah.
It's the what I was going to mention with that demolition, it's, like I said, those are huge projects, and a lot of people I have found in what we do here at Bad Buildings in the Brownfield Center, a lot of people kind of get bogged down in going for like the big success. There's like that one problem building that is in their community, and they are trying to go after these big funding opportunities and get really focused on that. But that is a long-term project, and it's going to often have a lot of obstacles. So what I love about this Love Your Block, approach is that it focuses on these smaller, more manageable, oftentimes free or low-cost projects. And more often than not, that's what's going to get the community excited, because it's instant gratification, almost instant. But like something as simple as cleaning up litter, or planting a community garden, like that's so visually impacting for people that walk down that street or drive on their way to work every day. They see that it's not the 5-year long planning process to get grants and get assessments and get whatever to take down a building or repurpose it. These are the things that people see and get them excited, and that then stimulates all of these other volunteers or initiatives, or are things you can use to show evidence to get those big grants, to get the big projects done. So I really love everything about this program.
Thank you.
Anybody else have other questions? Anything else? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. We are pretty much wrapping up here. So if you have any last questions, final call, go ahead and drop them in there. Like I mentioned, I will send around all of the links. I'll get Kalyn's slides and have all of that, link information and great advice and all of that for all of you to see as well. So don't worry, you will have access to it. But other questions for her right now, go on ahead and drop them in. Let me see if I have anything else on my list that I need to hit on. Oh, I will mention next month's webinar. So we've been doing all of these sessions on the last Thursday of every month. However, next month's session is a special one. It's held in conjunction with the Brownfields Conference. So that one is going to be on Tuesday, August 17th, and it's the role of land banks in redevelopment with Ms. Patty Hickman from the West Virginia Land Stewardship Corporation. So that one is just at a different time, and you'll notice on the website when you go to register for it, it's a little different because it's going through the Brownfields Conference platform. So don't let that date throw you off, but definitely do attend because it's going to be very helpful as far as, well, with all that demolition and redevelopment that I was just talking about. But it'll be good stuff, so don't miss that one. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So I think we're good. Kalyn, any other closing thoughts or anything like that today?
No, I will send you my slides. I didn't get to go to my last slide that has my contact information as well as Bree's contact information, but you'll have all that to be able to send out to everyone who, anyone who needs it. And we're here to answer any questions that you may have because we have seen the impact that this has in every neighborhood. Every neighborhood is different, but it could be equally as impactful.
Right. Excellent. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next month. Thank you all.